I want to do something a little special with this quick tip and with the next one. And that is, I want to show you the drawing process. A lot of people don't really cater to drawing too much. I should say that drawing sort of has a bad rep. But if you look throughout history, you'll find that the master artists did a lot of drawing. So what I'd like to do with this one is to show you a fun approach to drawing. And so let's get started with that. The first thing I want to introduce to you is the ebony pencil. You may be familiar with it already. I know that we have all those artist pencils, drawing pencils that are graded from in the H's all the way up through the very, very hard lead, all the way through the very soft lead. Well, and those are wonderful. But my favorite tool all these many years has been the ebony drawing pencil. And it's gone through a lot of changes. It started out with this original company, and then another bought it, and now I think Prismacolor bought it. But I buy these by the dozen. I love them so much. And so I still have the design version, but they're all the same. If you're going to go with the ebony drawing pencil, if the choice is graded, and I think some of them are being made graded now in various hardnesses, just go ahead and go with the 4B or 6B, because what I'm going to show you in the next quick tip is how we can use just one pencil and get all degrees of value by using the shaft of the pencil instead of the lead. But first, what I want to show you in this video, I want to show you how drawing can be so much fun and so easy if we don't make it a chore. Now, one thing that people will often do when they start to drawing, they'll inch up on the pencil like this and squeeze the dickens out of it, and then they're drawing just to be real tight. That's not going to do it. That's going to make your drawing tight. It's going to dig into the paper. It may cause a mark in the paper so that if you start to create values over it, you'll see that mark still. Inch your hand up on the pencil like this until a place where it feels comfortable to you. Now, I like about this space, I like to have enough to glide my hand over the paper when I'm drawing. So I feel comfortable with this. A lot of people will draw this way, and they will insist that that's the correct way to draw. There is no correct way to draw. As far as the way you hold your pencil, what you're doing here is all utilitarian. The way you hold the pencil, if you push your hand back far enough from the point of the pencil, you will have a lot more leverage than if you squeeze up on it like this. If you squeeze up on it like this, you have a tendency to squeeze the pencil. So if you make this habit, find a place that feels good, usually 2 or 3 fingers from the tip is a really comfortable place. There's the first thing. Next thing is the point of the pencil. Now, there are also a lot of artists that insist the correct way to sharpen a pencil is with a knife, and there are techniques for that. And I learned those techniques when I was in school. For sharpening the pencil properly, that too is myth. These days, with the kinds of pencil sharpeners available to us, we can get a nice, wonderful point on the pencil, and one that we can control just with a little battery pencil sharpener. This one's one of the best. I've been using this for years, but they also have hand sharpeners now, pencil sharpeners, that give you this long shaft, and that's what you really want. So there's the next thing. Now, for the initial drawing, we want the point to be sharp. We want to have a nice, clean point for doing our initial drawing. Now the initial drawing, if I'm drawing something for the first time, I want to explore it first, and I'll do this part up here. I usually will do some very quick gesture drawings. Now I've got other videos here on our quick tips that teach you about gesture drawing. What gesture drawing is, briefly here, is moving the pencil rapidly over the edges, outside and inside edges of the shapes that you're working with. And it's not you're not moving with your fingers, because that doesn't give you enough latitude. If you move with your entire arm, and so your arm, your elbow and wrist, the fingers will play some role in that, but you move your entire wrist, elbow, and shoulder for the action. The next thing is that we make that pencil glide over the paper, not push it down into the paper like that, but let it just glide over the paper easily, like that. That will make drawing so much more fun for you, and it will keep it from being such a chore. Now what I'm doing here, I've started exploring this mushroom right here, like this, and so I'm going to continue now. And I'm going to move around the mushroom. I'm simply exploring it. This is just preliminary, getting familiar with it. And as I'm exploring, I'm seeing all these wonderful little motions, these little, you see edges that are going up, under, and down like this. And if you move back and forth on an edge like this, you capture more of what you're seeing of that movement than if you just make one single slow line. So I've found over the years that if you learn gesture drawing, now gesture is different from contour drawing, but that if you learn gesture drawing, it can contribute an awful lot to your overall, your interest in drawing, the fun of drawing, and getting the image, creating images that are alive. You see what I'm doing now? I'm simply exploring what I see here in these lines as they come down. Now, sometimes I will do this and I'll go back, and the photo is going to be in my way there, so I'll just shrink that down just a little bit. Just exploring now what it is that I'm seeing there in the way of that mushroom shape. Okay, so I'm going to lean it up like that, and then I'm seeing this go in this direction like this. I come over here, and I see this going in this direction like that. And I see these little suggestions of all those little textures in there, doing something like that. Now that is very rough, and I didn't make it as wide as the mushroom there, but this is just exploring. It's not a matter of getting it right. We don't consider whether we're getting it right. We're simply exploring. Now I will usually do several, and sometimes when I'm working on these, I will have my first drawing will be sort of a phantom drawing where I'm exploring on the paper like this without touching it, and then going down with the pencil like this and so on. So I'm going to come down here now. Usually, as I said before, I do several of those to get to know the mushroom. I'm going to come down here now. Now I see the general direction, you see like this, the general direction from here to here of the shape is at that angle like that. I'm going to make myself a little bit of a line there, sort of to indicate that. And then I see that this all moves into sort of a fan shape, kind of folding out like that. So exploring those characteristics and being aware of those characteristics is part of the whole process. So what my intention here now is to do the initial gesture drawing just for this quick tip. And then for the next quick tip, I'll develop the values of that. But I'm not concerned with the values here. I'm concerned with just the edges and the movement of the whole. And so I'm going to start about right here to create the working drawing. Let's call it the working drawing. So we'll start about right here. And so this moves like that. Now, I'm not being particularly precise. I don't care about the precision of it right now. I'm keeping that line very light. Just let the point of the pencil glide over the paper without putting too much squeeze on it here. Just put just enough pressure on the thumb and the fingers to hold that pencil in your hand. Instead, did I go far enough there? There, we like that, kind of like this, going down. Then that turns and goes this way, and then it turns and goes this way. And then there's another piece that comes out about right here, and it turns and goes this way, sort of like this, sort of like that, and then comes down like this. That's this part right here, and then it goes down. And see, if you talk to yourself like that, it just as in painting, the trap that beginning artists especially, but a lot of artists have been painting for quite some time. The trap they fall into is that they were thinking about making it look like a mushroom. And if that's your thought, your eyes won't see what's actually happening there. So this is what's happening right in here. And then that tilts and comes down about like this as it goes around. And then it goes in something like this, like that. And then over here, it continues to move in this direction, sort of like this, and goes in like that. And then this little, and we have that twig that it's attached to there. Now, I'm just going to put that in and see what happens. That goes over on top of that like that and goes in front. So it suggests that as going out like there and in there. I'm going to come right back into here now. Did I leave enough room for, is the paper going to be my way? I probably should have started over here. Well, let's see what I can do. I may have to lift up the paper there of the photos on in order to get that in. All right, so we start right here over this part. I'm going back in here, and I'm going to come down right in here like that. See, just like that. And then it changes direction like that. And then it tilts up a little bit. Let's see, check the distance here. I'll check my angle here. Okay, it's great. It tilts up sort of like that, and then comes down almost a vertical. It's almost a vertical the way it comes down there. I'll just pull that paper out of my way there. Almost a vertical, but it's a little slants over a little bit like that. And let's check that against that. And then it dips in sort of like that, and then turns like this and drops down this way, sort of like this. And then it takes another turn and goes almost horizontal, but not quite horizontal, like this. And a little dip in here, continues right there. And then we have this little part that does this, like this. And all right, let's see what we've got. I think I probably should do a little bit of editing right there. Let's see, this part right here comes down like this, and then come over here, and this part comes in like this, and this, and this, and then in like that. Have a little shadow area, comes down like that. And let's see what's happening over here on the inside. Don't see much linear stuff over here. I just see all those little textural marks over here like that. And then comes down like this and this. Right in here, we've got the indication of the volume of the thing right in here. And turns this direction and connects right here. Now we have that little stem coming down like this. This comes down like this. And this goes up. And see what's going on right here. This part goes up. I'm going to put just a little bit more emphasis, a little bit, push a little bit harder as that part goes up there, and it connects about right in here like that. Now let's see what we have. Do I have a form that I can work with in here? So now what I'll do now is I'll use my kneaded eraser to take away these extra lines that I put in, just indicating, because I use the kneaded eraser here because it doesn't destroy the texture of the paper. It makes it a lot easier to come back and do a value drawing within that context of that. Now let's see, let's look at it. and see, should this be the drawing I'm going to work with, or should I make some edits in it? That's the way we do it. We start out with an initial study, and then we're exploring, as I was exploring these edges here, and then we decide, should this be the drawing that I'm going to create a finished drawing of, or should I create another drawing? Now, I see here, okay, so I didn't go up quite far enough right here. So here's my approach to what we would call editing. If I want to create a finished drawing here, and I'm seeing, okay, I didn't go quite far enough right here. So what I will do then is I will not erase and put back, but I'll go up here and I will look at this again. And I'll say, okay, that needs to go just a little bit further like that. And perhaps that needs to go a little bit further out like that. And then I will come, perhaps this needs to be a little bit further in like this. And then this needs to be a little bit further like this. This is searching. And then I come back with a neat eraser and check it out. And see, pull that out like that. And now let's test it. Let's check it out and see, will that work? Did I get enough? No, this seems to be, this wants to be a little bit wider right up here. So I'll check this out up here, and I'll go back now. Here, is this going to work for me to do another drawing on top? If I do, I won't be able to see. So what we'll do then in that case is edit. Now, this is not called correcting. This is called editing. That means that's one reason if you're drawing very lightly with your pencil, then you can make those edits. And when you make those edits, you don't have all of that hard residue later. And let's see, what does that need to do there? Oh, it needs to go up a little bit further, and it needs to curve upward, doesn't it? It needs to do this. Now, this is a good thing to do. Go over here and feel how that moves. And see, it moves more like this. And so instead of struggling with it, we just explore it. See, it moves more like this, and then it turns more like this, and then it takes a turn and goes in this direction, just a little bit there. Now, and so that means that this area over here, all that needs to be edited. All right, let's see. Let's just let's pull that edit up like this and go in this direction like this, and we pull it over like this and in like that, and we will take this direction here and then this direction here and in like that, and then this direction here, and this part actually comes out about like that. Now let's check it. All right, we'll take away this part. So you see, if you make it an exercise of exploring, when you are moving through the drawing and you find areas that are not quite working, then make that exercise as an edit, not a matter of trying to get it right. Just as an edit, this would work better if I do it this way, or this would work better. Now, as I move along, maybe that goes down a little far right there. So let's see, will that work out now? Will this little bit of drawing, will that work out to create a value drawing of this mushroom? As far as the value drawing part will be in the next quick tip. So let's see now. It's going to move this way, and this part right here comes down like that, and this part right here comes down like that. And let's see now, is that going to work? Is that going to, I believe I might be able to take this now and turn it into value drawing. See, the stem still seems to be a little bit short from here to here. And so before I really close this out, let's do just a little bit more editing right in here. Now, one thing that is also a myth is that people have the myth, they have a false concept that a professional artist gets it right the first time, every time, and that's not true at all. Sometimes we're not exactly on our game. Sometimes uh, we are not really tuned in enough, or just various kinds of things that a professional artist will never hesitate to do several studies or several drawings of an image. And so it's not a matter of trying to get it right, but it's a matter of developing the attitude of exploring. And I think that's what gets people so much about the whole concept of drawing, is that they are so afraid they're not going to get it right. Well, all we are doing here is following lines. Now, what I'm seeing here is that I probably slanted that a little bit too much right there, and probably could dip that line down right there and make that a little bit more, interpret a little bit closer what I see there. So that's the attitude that we take when we're doing a preliminary drawing. So now in the next quick tip, I'm going to take this and show you how we can use the shaft of a pencil to create the values within the preliminary. It's called the preliminary study, which is our gesture drawing. Be sure and view all of our quick tips. And while you're doing so, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell so you'll always get a notice when we produce a new quick tip, which is every week. And if you have a question, leave it in the comments section and we'll make a quick tip for you. Also, take a trip over to DianneMize.com where I have full-length lessons, downloads, DVDs, lots of other stuff there, some free stuff for you. And while you're there, you can subscribe to the newsletter, and that way you'll always be informed every time we do something new.